You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret and Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. Well, two of them. It's Dwayne.
Hey.
And it's not Niall. I was about to say it's me, Niall. That's never the case. It's me, Brian. Because Niall is having a belated Valentine's Day meal. And
we suck, apparently. So, yeah.
Yes, no Valentine's Day for us. We have to be hard at the coalface of watching anime.
I'm too busy. There's too many fucking cartoons. I'm not even watching like half of them, but yeah, I'm too busy.
This was the week where I was like, I've really got to go back down to just saying 6 is enough.
That's the problem, right? We didn't watch Freerun, and apparently it's great. We didn't watch. We stopped watching Kinnikuman, the Mushroom Pup, and fucking shit that was like this is good stuff, and it was just like because like there's only so much time in the week. Like that's the problem.
That week is February the 8th, February the 14th, 2025, starting with Sakamoto Days, episode 5, Source of Strength, in which we wrap up the fight with Lou and the assassin she's fighting, whose name I forget. And after this, I was like, Ubiguru. I was like, why hasn't she showed up again?
That's the thing I was thinking. I was just like, yeah, she was a really good character.
Yeah, she strikes up a friendship with Lou in this episode.
See, the thing is, they have sort of sidelined Lou as well in the
yes.
not sidelined there. Is it like the shonen women fucking problem? It's like no, only focus on the boys.
There's a specific problem with Lou, and it will be very interesting to see whether that specific problem how it's adapted in the anime. Because if it's done very differently in the anime, I think that will answer the question once and for all. If
that's what the problem was,
as to why Lou's been sidelined.
She got sidelined with Lou is the thing I was thinking, because I was just yes. she's pretty fun in that, the harder you hit her, the more she's like, oh fuck, a challenge, she just gets amped up by losing slightly, which is it's a good character trait.
Yes, we get a hint of what may be the problem with Lou as a character in Shonen Jump at the end of this episode. But there'll be far worse things, or possibly not. If the far worse thing does not happen in the anime, we'll know that was the problem. The far worse thing that she does.
But Lou is every kind of drunk, and she switches between them at rapid succession that no one can keep pace of. So she starts off an emotional drunk, and then a sad drunk, and then a happy drunk, and then an angry drunk. And it's just like, and each of these is a different fighting style, which I do like. I think that's nice. That's a good role play thing if any of you are playing like drunken monks in a tabletop RPG type thing. It's just like there's different ways of doing it, lads.
And then she sobers up incredibly quickly.
Yeah, she just passes through all the 7 stages of drunkenness to sober immediately, going like, "Who are you? Where am I?" But basically, your one kind of like calls the fight there is like, "You're too fucking cool. Me and you, we're going to be rivals. This is going to be great." And unless you get sidelined in the comic, and then I fucking disappear for whatever goddamn reason. But yeah, I again, the other thing I appreciated in their weird fight is the random goons that are hanging over Shin, like the Jason Voorhees looking guy and the other zombie, kind of going like, all right, she's off on it again. They're just like jobbers, kind of going like waiting for the boss to clock out. It's very good.
Meanwhile, Boiled is getting the shit kicked out of him by Sakamoto, who is far too powerful. And he's like, oh, this is the guy who was best hitman in the world. Whatever Boiled does, Sakamoto counters it and then smashes into him, and they end up in a Ferris wheel.
It's a pretty cool fucking thing, and they try to do the cool. I like the hard boiled thing. It was like, don't ask a man when he's walking out. The woman minded the Ferris wheel is like, what happened? It's like, don't ask a man how he got hurt. It's like, no, you got to pay for this. Like, you can't just smash up a fucking Ferris wheel. It's clear you two cunts did this. It's a very good fight. I'm glad they stepped away from eventually. Like, I like the Sakamoto losing a shitload of weight and becoming younger as a power up kind of thing, but I'm glad they kind of stick with it. Like, no, he's better fat. Like, a fatter Sakamoto is a better Sakamoto, but I do like the idea of your power up is to be de-age by like 5 years. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'd be a lot stronger myself.
I
if I could
can't
do
remember
that.
if they'll get to the explanation this. Or
Yeah, I'm not sure when
I know
they
it
get to
happens
that.
relatively early.
Yeah,
And the explanation is funny, and then the way they heighten the explanation is funnier still.
Because it's not it's not a visual like thing where it's like he looks like he's younger, or you're getting the vibes of him that he's younger. Because when Shin sees him, he's like, "Holy shit, it's young Sakamoto!" He's there taking like selfies with him and shit. It's just like, it's the man I fell in love with in the first place.
Meanwhile, Aoi Sakamoto, she wakes up and ends up having to scold her family.
And the assassin's trying to kill her family.
Yes.
Boyle is like, why am I here? Like, you shut up and listen to what the fuck I'm saying. He's like, yes, ma'am. Okay. And he's like, we were just trying to keep it quiet because we didn't want to ruin the family day, says Shin. You know, it's like a big thing. And she's like, you forgot rule number 6. No fucking lying. And it's like she opens the notebook. These are all written out rules. It's like I was like, fuck, I did forget number 6. Actually, that's a fair point. So no more lying about there being a 1 billion bounty on your head.
Yeah, so they decide they're going to speak to the Don Denkai boss and find out where Don Denkai are based. They go to a video rental shop and rent the movie Don Denkai. And the
information broker,
which again does not come back.
It's one of those things that you can kind of see in terms of like assassins being like the new hot fucking thing. This is very much so John Wick type stuff, and this is a very like John Wick silly fun idea.
This and the bit which follows it feels straight out of the Like a Dragon games.
It's that kind of level of extreme silliness. Yeah.
Yes, but there's certain Like a Dragon games where you go to a video shop to get things which aren't videos.
Yeah.
And then specifically once they figure out where the base is, the way they move through the base feels very much like that. They don't do the... Obviously, Kiryu would just charge right in and beat everyone at one at a time.
I feel like in one of the few fucking Yakuza games I played, I did kick the shit out of a dude in a bathroom. So like,
yes,
that seems
in the Judgment games, however, you do the same thing, but you often are doing it stealthily and trying not to be noticed because you're detectives and not a big burly man who knows 4 different martial arts styles. But yeah, the sort of having to go to the second floor, then we have to go out a window and up, and then arriving on the first floor with the big double doors is very much like multiple sequences across multiple Like a Dragon games. And then when they get through the double doors, they are shocked to find this is the Gumo is there surrounded by corpses. He explains he killed them all. Now he's going to have to kill you, and charges at Shin and stabs him in the neck with a toy retractable dagger because it wasn't him who did all this murdering.
Like he has a giant suitcase on his back and he pulls out the smallest knife you've ever seen. It's like, because it's one of those little magician tricks daggers, and he gets a scolding from the kids because he's like, "What are you fucking with? I'm not here to kill you." We did get introduced to the order before this as well. Like we did get a little scene of them at a restaurant, I guess.
Yes, I think it's a JAA restaurant though.
I mean, your man's not. He's upset that your man is so upset that he put onions in his food that he's now stabbing him in the hand. But he's not surprised that your man is now stabbing him in the hand because he put onions in his food.
Yes. And there's a guy from the JAA, the coordinator, communications coordinator.
That's it. Yeah. We're holding a meeting of the order, and it's just like, it's unusual to have all of you here, and you, like, all of us is like, there's 3 of them missing, and it's weird the old man isn't here, but I guess he got fucking old and senile and he forgot the meeting, that kind of thing.
Yes. And I like the way he says, and 3 of those barely ever show up. And I was like, yeah, that's right. They're very much from the comic. It's but it's taken us a long time to get to those other 3. In fact, there's lots of things in this episode where it's like, from viewing it from the other end of this story, where it currently is in the comic.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting watching it, where we see the flashback of who actually did the murders and what they're doing now, what they're saying. Slur is the person they want who's signing these kills with a painted X on the wall.
Because it's not that weird that assassins would start assassinating each other because, rivalries, and they literally murder for a living, so why not murder a guy who's against you? But it's like, no, this guy's going after JA ones and leaving a big X, so they decided to call him Slur. And so he's leaving a message. He's making a point of it. He's killed like 100 or like a lot. Like, was it like 20% of all Japanese assassins or something? A huge number of them anyway. Like the lower rungs one, but it's kind of like it's a big problem. So they called in the Order, which is the JA's assassination squad that assassinates rogue assassins. So they're good.
Yes. And then we see this guy, who presumably is Slur, painting an X on the wall and talking about how the balance is off, while referring to like an illustration. Book.
Yeah, he's talking about like when you're doing a drawing, especially like digital drawing, we flip the canvas to see if you got the perspective right, and his X is wildly unbalanced. He's like, I'm not sure I got that one right, kind of thing. Yeah.
And this is after Naguma has explained that these two things, Slur going around killing assassins and this bounty being put on you, Sakamoto, happened at exactly the same time. And if you're having trouble dealing with Boiled, you're gonna have to get tougher. Because how you gonna deal with this Slur guy or anybody else who's coming strong?
Because Boiled is small potatoes in the assassin. Well, he's not. He's good, but he's no the Order, like which Sakamoto used to be in. And Shin is like, I don't even fucking know that was the case, kind of thing.
Yes, I'd forgotten that balance is offline. And I was like, that has a completely different meaning now. We know what's going on in the
they could emphasize it more now that they know where it's kind of gone. It's that kind of thing where you're seeing like the beginning, but the comic it's not that it hadn't found its feet. It's like it's finding what it's about while telling the story, and it's gotten to that point now for sure. But now they can reframe a lot of that earlier stuff. Yeah,
I do wonder if that feels like an idea which was probably there from the start, though.
Yes, but to emphasize it in this way, I think.
Yes. Yeah, the animators may not have known to frame it quite as strongly as they did without knowing where it's going.
Yeah.
And then we get the training sequences, which is Sakamoto cycling to school with his daughter, Shin doing people's shopping for them just as soon as they've stepped in through the door, and Lou just lining up a load of booze, going, I better start my training, just necking it, and then smashing a customer over the head with the bottle.
It's lucky he was an assassin. And again, just that this is their normal everyday now, and they have like 3 previously defeated assassins sitting on the curb outside, and Sakamoto's daughter goes on and puts a plaster on one of them. He's like, "Thank you, little girl." It's like, your dad's pretty cool. They're all like, it's like, yeah, fair cop. He got us. Like, we're not gonna try and assassinate him because we got our ass kicked. But yeah, it's a very like silly, like this is their normal everyday for now until things go wild again, as they often do.
Yes, and I think that's where it gets left this episode.
Yeah.
Just a nice little reset, and know the arcs which are coming up, because I can see the people's names getting mentioned as who's getting cast as them.
And you're also seeing like the intro. It was like, okay, they have to show up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all kind of happening quicker than I remember it happening in the comic. But I think we're like up to chapter 16 or something with this one.
Pretty good going.
50, I think. Chapter 50. Yeah, that's about right. Then we do like 3 chapters a week. Then that's
okay. Yeah.
basic. Then we got Orb, episode 20. I love Heliocertrisim. And blowing myself up.
Yeah, I've got a little more philosophical debates in the dark, which is fine because again the writing's very good in this, and the characters are kind of so strong.
Yes, you do get the feeling Schmidt is a guy who read one bit of Plato, decided that was for him, and hasn't moved on any further from that.
Schmidt is exactly the fucking kind of cunt the kind of cunt characters we enjoy in this kind of show. But he's exactly the guy who quotes exactly the bit that fucking agrees with his philosophy and not the rest of the fucking thing the guy said. Because you're one, corrects him on it immediately.
Well,
It's like,
no, she comes back with Aristotle quotes as well.
sorry, yeah. But I mean, like that's an addition to. You can't just read your Plato. You got to fucking read your Aristotle as well. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it was good because it's like you're trying to argue learnedness with someone who is learned, despite not believing in knowledge or human knowledge. I think was the way he put it.
Yes. And then the other stuff is with her and Yolenta, where Yolenta's like talking about willing to die for your convictions, and she talks about risk, and Draka has like this in her head, and she hasn't, because she has risked it all for her convictions, but it's very much risking it. She was making a gamble.
Yeah.
On the book. That was
you can see it's absolutely a gamble because at the start of the episode, Schmidt's like, "Oh, so we've gotten all the information out of her, so we can fucking kill Draka now. We can get rid of her." And Yuan's like, "No, because," and she doesn't literally say, "Because I was once a young woman who wanted to fucking get on in the world, and that got me completely fucked over the fact that I was a woman. So this is a young woman who's trying to fucking make her way in the world. I'm gonna help her out. I say we help her out." And he's like, "Is that not dangerous?" Like, "I'm gonna risk it." Like. From the opening, like you can see how risky. Yeah. Yolenta's risking it. That's the thing, yeah.
But what Yolenta though isn't. What she's doing here is no risk is involved. She's not blowing herself up in the hope that she might survive being blown up.
No. It's the idea that it is in the thing. She's basically saying in that conversation at the end to Draka, is just like, I need you to take this message and like, because like we part of the profits go to Potetsky. Poor old dead Potetsky. We cannot fucking pay him once this book is thing. He's gone. He's out of the picture. But if you could carry this on for me, it's like, I have no reason to fucking follow this thing that you asked me to do. And she's like, yeah, I'm taking a risk in it. It's the thing of you're passing the knowledge onto the future, not knowing if they're going to fucking continue it and keep it up and shit. It's just like, so far, people have been picking up the baton and running the rest of the fucking race. But you can't guarantee that because you're going to be out of the fucking story. What with being dead, but you're taking a risk by passing it on to the next generation. Is what the show has been about so far. That's the risk that she's taking, but it's not a personal risk, like you say. Yeah.
No.
It's a risk of her ambition, basically.
That's the thing which Draka's pondering, and I'm like, yeah, it's. But she doesn't necessarily know that she's going to blow herself up until they hear the explosion in the background. Now, do you think that is a letter to Pataki, or do you think that's a letter to Novak?
Yeah. Like it seems to be related to the stuff, but like it seems more likely it is. Yeah. That scene, I was just like, come on, see, it's your daughter. No, you don't have time, because she immediately like, you're under arrest, men, get ready to fire. And she's like, I have brought so much fucking explosives to this situation.
Yes, their eyes meet briefly as she's being hurtled towards him in pieces.
And him like picking up her fucking severed, exploded arm when he was like gripping her gloves, like, I'll get vengeance for you. It's just like, it's your daughter. You just picked up your daughter's fucking severed arm. You fuck. God damn it. I wanted to get his shit together and kill that fucking bishop, but I know it's not going to happen. It's just going to be tragedy upon tragedy for this sad sack. God damn.
And your lad with the anime hair gets a bit more personality with this one as well.
He has the same drive, not thing he's trying to achieve, but he's the same drive as Draka, which is to surpass his fear of death. But he's doing it very differently and for wildly fucking different reasons. He's got his own shit going on. He seemed like a very simple character. It's like, nope, he's as complicated and interesting as any.
Yes, he's probably more complicated than Schmidt, because Schmidt has simplified his beliefs down to perhaps psychopathy.
Yeah, like Schmidt asking Draka is like, here, will you help me turn this this grinding wheel so I can sharpen this sword? When he was literally, or started the episode going like, we'll kill Draka now, right? And she's like, is this not technology? Is this not against your philosophy? He's like, I use technology to kill technology. It's perfectly fine. I'm within nature. It's just like a hypocrite, as much as a hypocrite as he needs to fucking be to support his own beliefs.
Yeah, and Rosie and the lad's like, don't let the captain hear me say this. He's like pointing out the good things that religion brings. It's just
it's gotten corrupt because it's gotten so big and it's went on so long. But the idea that a guy thousands of miles away from me, who doesn't speak the same language, is in a different culture, believes a lot of the same stuff that I do, is reassuring. I have a connection to someone I've never fucking met.
Yeah, it may be a man-made thing, but it's a man-made survival technique.
A man-made survival technique that helps him and helps this guy thousands of miles away he's never going to fucking meet. Like, it's a thing that bolsters humanity, but it is a thing that he admits is currently corrupt as fuck, so it does need taken down. Like, I do agree with that part, is the thing he's doing this whole crusade for.
Yep, and they're headed off, and the knights go past them, and they're like, phew, and then the knights turn around and go, please step out of the wagon, and that's where we leave the episode. There's only 2 of those knights, and there's 3 of those guys with swords. I do wonder if it's going to end up with Draka being the only one alive and in possession of both the book, the notes, and the
printing press, because all the printing gear is in the wagon where they're going to the press. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, they hunted them down to this, like, they bought a bunch of movable type and stuff and went to this place, and that's why Novak has showed up to take him out. And it's like, the plan is, we blow up this thing, I become a martyr, more people are going to join not our cause, but the new organization that we set up. Like, it's not the Heretic Liberation Front, it's the Liberation for Heretics Frontage or something like that. It's basically, we're going to do the same fucking thing. We're going to rebrand, and people are going to join our thing because she's a martyr now. That's a dead end. The leader of the Heretic Liberation Front is exploded. Like, that's all cleaned up by their fucking estimation, which is like, it's actually a pretty good plan.
Thinking of, they're pondering whether to meet up with the Reformation, aren't they?
Yeah, they're wondering what exactly we're going to turn into next. But like, we've made a clean break from it, so we can do this other thing. Yeah.
It's but yeah, I do feel like that would be the biggest, like, moral quandary to end it on, is leaving Draka with the decision whether to print this or not.
Yeah. You would make money on it. Like, that's the thing. Like,
that is the thing. She would also then get to make the money she has been not offered by these zealots. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. And then we've got Kinnikuman, Perfect Origin Arc, Season 2, Episode 16, Return of the Strongest Akuma Tag Team. Have you ever seen a cartoon episode more in love with a man who is a spring? The way they draw his eyes in this episode.
Oh my god, like, they give him like the different kinds of emotional eyes on this spring.
Yeah, that's the only way you can make it express emotions. That's all you've got as a face.
I get what Niall was saying, is just like, can you not just let Springman be his own fucking man rather than the tag team partner of Buffalo Man? It's like, they give him a lot, though. They do, like, it is very Springman focused. And it's the thing of, sometimes you're a good wrestler and sometimes you're a good tag team wrestler. It is a different fucking division, and he works well as a contrast to Buffalo Man. He's springy and stretchy and wild and crazy, and Buffalo Man is fucking brick shithouse. Like, he's just a big solid guy.
And I do the trickery. And also we see, like, there is like some sort of even within the Akuma Choji themselves, if you're some sort of toy show, object-based Chojin, you're treated poorly by a man who is part sneaker, part alligator.
Now, and in that guy's defense, the part sneaker one, not very fucking Akuma, but all the reptile shit, that looks fucking great. Buffalo Man, he's straight up got horns. That's devil as fuck. Like, Black Hole, creepy motherfucker. That's perfectly fucking, has got a great creepy laugh. Has got a giant cowl that he can turn into a scythe. Very fucking devil, very Akuma. You're a spring, and the cassette man, that's not very devil. What, like, and he's getting a lot of bollocking from the Snake Man while they're doing their training arc that they did off screen, which his training arc was to be stretched as a spring and beaten the shit out of with a stick. Very similar to your man's one. It's like, just hit me in the fucking neck until it just scabs the fuck over.
Yes. I didn't take time to learn a new technique. I just honed my existing technique, which is to turn myself into a slinky, bounce down numerous stairs, go over the top of you, sharpen my edges, and slice you into multiple pieces.
I did like the thing of Buffalo Man, like, taking a lot of a hiding and then, like, damaging the fucking wall of the pyramid enough that it revealed the stairs. Fucking Terry Mangone is like, I think it was some sort of to some sacrificial altar. It's like, no, they walked upstairs to get to the various. There's stairs inside this pyramid,
Yes.
Terry. All right, but like,
no, he's not been inside.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how else? There's not a lift inside there.
Also, he's probably got CTE and multiple concussions. So,
but I did like the thing of Buffalo Man going like, "I've cleared the way for you, pal." Like a buddy of mine, my partner in crime, and it's just like, and it's just a stairs. And thinking about it's like, oh, Slinky Man. Sorry, Spring Man is basically like,
yes.
oh, my one fucking move that I can do, which I need to do off of a stairs. Like it's the only like there's not many stairs. Sometimes there's a stairs next to the wrestling ring, but there isn't always a stairs next to the wrestling ring. So he can't do it every time, but he can do it now.
Yes, because he's taken a lot of insults, mainly from Turbo Man this episode. It takes them a while to turn it into a tag team match.
Because initially, like the referee
it,
guy is kind of like, I'm gonna fucking call a foul in this whole thing, and the perfect judge are just like, it's just you have to fight the wrestler on your step, and since the step collapsed on the other step, is like, yeah, we're fine with this being a tag team match. And your perfect guy's going like, we've never worked together before, but because we're perfect, we can work perfectly with each other, and turn into the Death guy. What's his? Is it just Death Man?
Is Grim Reaper
and Turbo Man.
Turbo Man's the one who goes Bosch constantly.
Bosch, and his eyes click like indicators on a car. Or like hazard lights, I guess. When he's absorbing the damage he takes. Grim Reaper turns into a gun, for lack of a better term. Like he turns his dress into a gun and like shoots Turbo Man like a bullet at various points. That was weird.
Before
they
that
also turn into like spinning tops
on Turbo Man's head
and sets fire to his dress, which cuts you for some reason. Like it's just they don't make any goddamn sense, but they work perfectly because they're perfect judges. I did like that kind of thing. It was like, we didn't even need to practice as a tag team. That's how good we are. It doesn't seem to be working out for him because Springman has lost his signature move and now he is a sharp spring.
He is. That's where it leaves him. But Turbo Man is making a noise that makes me think that he's still got some sort of trick left up his sleeve.
I assume he's absorbed all the damage and is now going to counter everything like he did the last time he killed one of these guys. Yeah.
Also, the Perfect Origin guys, their tag team name is the John Does.
Because they decided to go and put a name on the spot for their team, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but John Does versus Diablos is the.
It's very good cartoony nonsense, like in the best way. Like it's wild swings that it's just like I couldn't have predicted that they were going to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. This is an episode which loves Springman. It does get a lot of the suffering and the shine.
Yeah. You're like, again, we have our good wrestlers looking on us like, wow, I never thought I'd be cheering on Springman's fucking horrible signature move that I saw him chop a guy up with once.
He killed somebody. He killed one of my friends with that move. But we're going to cheer it on now.
Like that's how much the episode is in favor of Springman. He
kills them in a truly appalling manner, in which you're sliced into multiple parts.
Like rent limb from limb, like just like more so than that. Yeah.
Yes, because we also get some Buffalo Man flashback where we get the line after tearing meat into multiple pieces, he saw the lights and joined the Justice Church.
Yeah, like it's like Buffalo Man has done this match and this match and this match, and Springman has done this one outstanding match. It's kind of like
matches as well.
I know, but basically they've no like single. They don't have many single matches to pull from.
They have to say,
that's the problem.
Yes, we've lost that, but we've got better.
Yeah.
Talking of losing and getting better, what a great segue. Zenshu episode 6, Change. In which our heroine does learn that you can't do everything yourself and has flashbacks to people telling her this before.
In her career and life and everything, and also from that thing where she almost fucking died, and everyone's kind of, especially our hero, is very concerned about the situation. And she's like, I didn't know it was going to turn into liquid. I would have summoned something other than a samurai. And he's like, that's not the fucking point.
You should also say, it becomes clear later on in the episode, what Luke's really concerned about is that she might have been kissing a dragon, and he would prefer if she was kissing him.
I prefer if she was doing a smooch on me. I mean,
essentially,
I get it, because the dragon, as she pointed out last episode, he's hot. Like it's kind of the thing. It was like, whoa, as a washed up piece of shit, you look great, actually.
The mood change he has when he realizes, oh, you were just drawing him because you're interested in the appearance, the facial appearances she never saw in the design sheets. And she's like, oh, no, yeah, Luke, I used to draw you all the time. I could draw you from any angle. And then he blushes, and then he starts doing loads of different poses in case there's an angle she hasn't seen him do before.
And also, I think he's trying to do her like, because she was doing her cool, like, we're the Nine Warriors,
Super
cool poses,
transformation type thing. Yeah,
his ones aren't as good as poses, but it's his first time, so he's trying.
Yes, but that mood change, I was like, okay, so it wasn't really her rushing off and trying to do everything herself, which was really bothering you.
That was part of it, sure, but it was also the I wanted to smooch in my face, and I did we kind of instantly undercut that emotional beat, like just confirming that he's into her, that kind of thing. Like cut to the unicorn going like I don't fucking like any of this shit.
And then the second half is them coming up with a plan to take down whatever, because the liquid metal void has formed a chrysalis, and something's going to hatch out of it, which turns out to be a giant centipede because it's an anime.
I mean, but they can't attack the chrysalis. The Luke sword, the hero, doesn't fucking do any damage to it. So we gotta wait for this cunt to hatch. And we gotta come up with these plans and contingencies. Maybe it can fly. Like, we know Unia is the only one of us who can fucking fly, unless we can convince our dragon pal. It's like, come on, man, you're the only one who can fly. And it's just like, it's a sore point. Don't bring that up with it. But they don't know.
Yeah,
but they're sensible about it. They evacuate the town and everything,
Yes, and they've spotted the weak points from looking at the chrysalis. They can see through it to a degree, and they're like, oh, there's a point here on whatever the critter is. If we attack that point, we can probably hurt it, even if the rest of it is as strong as the chrysalis. That's what we're going to do. And that is indeed what they do, but the unicorn's horn falls off during the process.
Well, he falls off of the because they were like, we'll hang out up here, you wait down here. Well, they had all their positions waiting. They all get fucking blasted by this flying giant centipede, and the unicorn lands headfirst into the ground. And when he gets up and looks around, I was like, that cunt's not got a horn anymore. And they specify in this episode as well. They have as well before, but the unicorn's magic comes from his horn. It's just so he can do he can do a little bit of shields. He can not transform fucking correctly. It's not much going on. Yeah.
So, gonna have to draw steps to get the pair of them up there to attack the beastie. And then the problem is, once they move around this column, she can't see them to draw the steps. So now she needs to be able to get up there and see it. So gonna have Justice, you're gonna have to carry me on your back.
Justice, you're going to wear my desk like a fucking coat. He jams his head through the front of the desk, and she's sitting on his shoulders essentially. The way he's drawn flying, it is really fucking good in terms of he's constantly veering to it's his right wing is damaged, isn't it? So
it's the right wing's damaged.
So he's kind of veering to the right because she keeps going left a bit. And he's like, I'm fucking the strain of it. It's very well done, and it's broken wing flying. I was really impressed by it. Yeah.
And this is the first time in this series where they've all worked together to defeat a monster. And not just
she doesn't summon a big thing to do. She does this in a support role, not on I'll fucking summon a thing and you guys sit the fuck back kind of thing, which is what she's been doing up to this point. It's they're good at what they do. Give them a shot.
The turn crit cheers, and it's all sorted. And next week we get flashback episode to when she was a little kid and she went to see the movie.
So now we, as the audience, will get context for what this movie was actually like. Yes. We were getting the super happy version of this movie. They're way past the point of where the movie ended, as I think my understanding. So everyone's kind of
next week's episode is called First Love. So I'm going to guess her first love was Luke, and that she's so obsessed with that. That's why she forces everyone to draw their first love at the studio. Yeah, I guess that's where it's going. But yeah, so it's the flashback. Episode 7's always a pretty good spot for a 12-episode story to suddenly go back in time and explain what's the deal with the main character.
Yeah, I think this show's done a great job of like establishing our core characters and stuff, and just like even our kind of elf giving her like words of support, and it's like good girl and that kind of thing. Like, but like, and she's like, I've never seen an elf make that face before. I got to draw that. Like, they're so well fleshed out. You kind of know where all of them are coming from at any point.
Yes.
Yeah, the
But
interactions
they're
are
also
great.
still really cartoony because the little
Yes,
statue guy goes to the bar and goes, oil, peace.
straight. Yeah. Well, he's trying to give her some life advice because he's a little robot. Like, yeah, I wasn't going to give the robot shit like before. He's still good. He still shoots lasers and stuff. He's still useful, even though they always tend to attack when he's recharging. That's the best time to attack. It's just them being sensible.
Then we've got Dr. Stone's Science Future, episode 6. Science is elegant, in which they send a spy to the Kingdom of Science so that she'll be able to point out who exactly Sydney needs to do the sniping at.
I was looking forward to her because she's a good character, but I was remembering, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot the shape of her, and I forgot that it as it does in the comic, like it opens on her ass, and it's just like, yeah, that's the widest part of her, so that's why we opened on that part. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. She's a fun character, is the thing. That's why I was like, oh, I can't wait for our what's it, the capable woman. She has so many nicknames for herself.
Yeah, so she's got 2 fans as well.
She has the 2 fanboys, one of which is very fucking loud, but I was still enjoying how fucking annoying he was. He was good.
Yes, and she's surprised at Taiju being the scientist because of the way he behaves, and also she's totally falling for Senku throughout the episode.
It's the combination of Senku being like the super charming Senku, and it's just like, hey, I'm trying to butter you up and trying to get you on my side and trying to mine you for information. And everyone who knows fucking Senku going like, oh, I don't like looking at Senku when he's making goo goo eyes at people. It's weird, man. It's not good. Because oh, we haven't said her name actually. It's freaking, oh, what the hell is her name?
Luna, is it?
Luna the capable woman. Yeah. And the constant talk of like her fanboys going like, why did why did our sniper dress her in that stripy dress? Don't know. It looks good in her. He's probably into her. I mean, like, we're into her, and it's like, no, that man is homosexual. And it's just like, hey, why is Senku being sweet on her? Well, I guess he's into blondes. She's literally one of the few characters who doesn't have fucking blonde hair. She has pink hair. And it's like, no, Senku is asexual. Like, it's like, pay attention to the fucking. But it's like the other characters assuming it's just like, well, a hot girl, obviously. The characters are into that. And it's like, the characters you're talking about are not. But
but also when she's going through and going, who can I seduce? And going through all the options and going, no, definitely not.
Because she knows that she likes brainy dudes who are like, she likes, her type is Senku, right? But
Yeah.
she's like, I need to use what I would be attracted to as my way of detecting who it is. So when she sees like a burly dwarf man just banging the shit out of stuff, it's like, no, it's not that. I could that's not what I'm into. So using that to try and determine, and then it's like, hey Taiji, will you come help us with this thing? And it's like, oh, you just revealed it to me, so I just got to point him out. But how am I going to get him on deck? It's like Taiji lifting a bunch of planks on deck. I love being on deck. It's just like, okay, this is like, I don't know how I'm going to sneak out and do this, but they're like, how do we win her over so she'll slip out information? Let's invent ice cream. That would be the way to do it, because we don't know what drink she likes, but everybody likes ice cream, right? And we get the scientific breakdown of how you make vanilla without any vanilla. Yeah.
Yes, and then also we get the fun thing of like everybody from the Stone world is even more enamored with their very first taste of ice cream.
Yeah.
The people who've gone without for thousands of years, and we get the information that this scientist is a NASA scientist.
It's because it's her kind of saying, it's like, wow, this ice cream's pretty good. Or, as Dr. Zeno would say, it's like, it's elegant. And Senku's like, oh, I had email correspondence with that fucking guy. I know that fucking guy. He got me.
Yes. And this is where you're like, oh, again, if you just hadn't lied, if you just said it was Senku.
It's Senku. It's like, oh, Senku, I know that kid. He's a good fucking egg. Yeah. We can get on. No problem. He's made it more complicated. He couldn't have fucking known. What are the odds? What are the odds that Senku's American NASA scientist pen pal, Dr. X, because he couldn't call himself by his official name, but he did sign off everything as science is elegant. It's like, that's the... Senku's like, I know who this fucker is. Now we, like, and again, it was, they got the information out of Luna by treating her with basic dignity and respect.
Anyway, I think next week we get one of the most sensible characters in the entire show up.
Ukyo again.
Well, I realised Ukyo is the most sensible character, but he's boring.
But they always bring him everywhere because we need a straight man. We need a straight man to all these fucking weirdos, and that's why we need him around.
But he is the Ukyo of the American side.
Yeah.
Will be showing up. I was like, oh yeah, he's a great character. Because again, it's the sensible man. He's like, can we not kill everybody?
Yeah, it's very much so. Like, we came to America, and the Americans have immediately started shooting at us and started a fucking war. And I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying about politics here, that kind of thing. And it's just Stanley hiding up in a tree with so many bottles of water. So it's just like, he's just going to be drinking and pissing, waiting for his fucking shot.
Brody Dudley, that's the guy.
Yeah. He's the guy with, I think he's sunglasses, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy, sunglasses. Yeah, I think they announced the cast, so I must be next episode because that's usually what they do. It's like, is it coming next week? And this is who's playing him. Then we got Trillion Game, episode 19. This one is called Look at the Sky Instead of the Peak, which gets us the boys back together.
Yeah, it is our figuring out how to do gacha games, but slightly less evilly than the most evil company you can imagine.
Yes. And just to drive it home, we see the evil company's boss being evil. And sort of having a very low opinion of mankind.
Yeah. Mankind always strive to be on the top, but they'll never be on the top. But we'll give them thing of, you could pay to be on the top of this little fucking game. But they'll never achieve it. And we're just giving them we're selling them the dream of it. They'll eat it up, those saps, that kind of, that's how he feels about it. Increase the unfairness of the fucking pulls in the gacha game. The team leader screams at the developers of the Dragon Mitsume game. But, it's just like, you need a couple of things, as our old man points out. It's what? Beautiful boys and girls. Like, you gotta have that, number one. That's very important. I forgot what the number 2 thing was, but the number 3 thing was like decent fucking gameplay. Like, you do actually have to be a good game. That's the important fucking part, and that's what we're gonna win on, because again, they go through like the numbers and all that shit. It's like even the retained players, like only 2% tend to spend money on it.
Yes.
And one of their marketing strategies seems to be, let's get all the people we have involved in our talent agency and have them appear as celebrity characters in the fucking thing and for random events, and keep people in that way. The idol group will say your name if you come in the top in the league or whatever the hell. Yeah.
And it works, and we get a reunion of Haru and Gaku, and they give each other a high five.
I do appreciate they're having their
romantic.
Yeah. The celebration they're having on the boat, and then Gaku appears on the boat. Like, you presume it's like he jumped off a bridge or something like that. But it's like, I imagine he just leaped out of the fucking sky, because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. And it's just kind of like that. I've just appeared out of nowhere to support you in this regard. It's just like, yeah, they're cool with each other again. I mean, like, it's the idea. I was like, yeah, you showed me up, you beat me, and I'm here to help out. And again, it was like, you tried to fuck us over, and he's like, yeah, sorry guys. Like, he doesn't try to apologize properly for being a jerk. He's just like, no, we're going to be jerks to the bigger jerk. Yes. That's why we like Gaku, and yeah.
And then, of course, Haru, by the end of the episode, does something to remind Gaku of what Haru is, by stealing all the staff from Dragon Bank who works on the competing game.
See, we've actually passed them in the highest grossing game of the month kind of thing. We've surpassed them again. even though they made a rip off of our game. So they're going to be getting a bollocking and stuff, and all we need to do is go in and poach all of them, because all of them are going to be great. And it's like, but the best way to poach them, right, is to offer them more than they're currently being paid, and we know all their salaries, right, buddy? Right? Because you saw all their salaries.
Yes. And he's like, oh no, I forgot that Harry is the sort of guy who does not flinch at doing bad things.
Yeah. Back to exactly the kind of dickery that this show tends to get up with, and it's good. Yeah.
Yes, and they invite him all in. Rinrin's like, yes, we're a perfectly normal company. And then one of the owners wakes up from the cardboard box he's sleeping in.
The cardboard fort that he's sleeping in. Because he lost his house because, like he says, it's like, me and Gaku agreed to get no wages so we could set this whole thing up. And I was like, and I guess Gaku's just sleeping around, like sleeping from woman to woman and like staying at their fucking place. And I was like,
Harry.
sorry, I mixed up the names. No, yeah, that would not very in character. Haru is yeah, but it's the idea that I think he probably has got himself like a wage or something like that, at least in the talent company kind of thing. Like,
yes,
he's definitely making some money. Like, he's not doing it on the sly. He's just like, no, you should have started paying yourself at some point so you could pay the rent and you weren't kicked out of your apartment that we started this company. But yeah, now he's living in the office despite it being a more official company than ever. He's living in a cardboard fort in the office. One of the presidents, sorry, he's not the president, the owner of the company. Oh, actually, Rin calling her ma'am to say what's up. And it's like, you can't give yourself a raise, honey. That's the thing a president would do. And it's like, ma'am, I'm the president of the company. I can do that now, especially when we're running a profit. Yeah, it's very funny. They're rags to riches kind of thing. Like Rin's, is she? I was going to say she's just out of college. Is she even out of college yet? I think she still might be in college. I'm not 100%.
I think we've celebrated her graduating. So
yeah. She's just out of college. Okay. She was recruited as president while in college.
She is also curiously absent so far from the present day scenes.
Yeah, like, did she go on to do bigger and better fucking things, or yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think that's the and you can now read along weekly as it's now on the Viz Manga app as a symbol. I was going to say cast. It's a comic, simultaneously published, which means there's a massive gap between what they've published in the collections and like the past month's worth of issues of it.
Well, that's okay.
I've not jumped in. I might jump in and see if I can figure out. I'm sure the storytelling will be good enough that I can probably figure out what's missing.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as a Detective Conan where you can just like hop in and it works as a mystery, even if you're missing some bits of the ongoing plot.
Yeah.
Then we got From Bureaucrat to Villainess. Dad's been reincarnated. Episode 6. Dad is moved to tears. The first part is that Anna's magic accidentally attracts another monster, and
your magic is so powerful that well, the dad was trying to say, oh, they were doing a magic fight demonstration, and it's like, oh look, you unveiled some dinosaur bones. They're like, dinosaur bones? Those are failed experiments by wizards. I think you'll find. Don't know where you're getting that fucking madness from. I was like, it turns out they weren't failed experiments by wizards. They were failed experiments. Those weren't bones of the failed experiments. Those were skeleton monsters which were trapped inside rock, and now it's a dinosaur dragon skeleton that is attacking them because of the high magic. And they're like, we'll defend you, ladies. You get back to college and send for help. But they stick around anyway because they're like, wait, I could just write shit on your magic circles and that will boost you to.
Because as soon as their backs are turned, the two lads get sent flying.
Yeah.
So yes, the dad helps as Grace by using his dad magic, i.e. Japanese single syllable words, to activate their magic abilities to transform their monsters into a sword and a shield.
Yeah, because they're just using their like thing that's like, this is enhancing my defense with fire magic. This is enhancing my attack with water magic. And it's just like, you could like turn them into shit and stuff, you know.
Yes, and this is the episode where a couple of things become clear. The dad is manipulating how the game behaves based on his perception of the game.
Like he's basically like, because it was already like a half dating sim, half Pokemon kind of game, but this is like he's putting like, this would be cool too if this was in it, and like as his daughter is playing it, notice like the graphical fidelity increasing or decreasing depending on the dad's perception of the characters he's talking to. That's great. Yeah.
Yes, and he finally notices that there's an effect going off.
He has his eyes open at people when they're leveling up in their relationship status. He's like, "What's this twinkly twinkle thing?" You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only the once. The other times it happens this episode, he has his eyes closed still. But he just notices it the once. So he hasn't.
I think he sees it happen
to
to the boys, and he sees it happen to Anadol, but like that's it. He doesn't see it the rest of the times it happens the rest of the episode.
No, he doesn't see it happen when it doesn't see what happens to the villains in the second half.
Yeah.
Because the second half is that the three gossipy girls who are supposed to be the hench women to the villainess try to cause a friction between Anna and Grace by spreading lies about Anna and then spreading lies about Grace.
Yeah, they're trying to say to Grace, to the dad, like it's basically like, Anna, you don't want to be associating with the regular fucking plebeians, and it just Grace is kind of like, all right, cool, like you guys like spreading rumors isn't cool for like the nobility. We have to be noble and shit. Also, what are your names? Just unrelated. I'm just gonna like, I'm just writing them on the fan. So when you see that thing at the end, when it's Grace and the dad dancing in unison, and he has his expense report and she has her fan, I'm guessing he had people's names written on the expense report because he was terrible at remembering people's names.
I assume so. Yes.
Man, I wish I had something I could carry around with me that I could use as a cheat sheet for people's names. I'm fucking terrible at names.
Yes,
That's
the
smart.
two lads, the two other first year lads, the young prince and the other guy, they're well, the young lad just wants a fan himself, and
she's incorporated. She's also incorporated the wand into her fan and her cheat sheet into a fan. It's all in one fan. It's great.
I bought one. It looks pretty. And then the other lad's not so keen on this until they describe, well, you can put it in different. You can put the wand in different things, like a book.
You could put it in the spine of the book, and like you'd summon the book, and the circle would be on the book. And he's like, "That's so fucking cool, shit."
Can I speak to your craftsman?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of character from them because they're going to do like they've been invited to some sort of magical event, which is rare for first years to be invited.
It's the magical demonstration thing, and like the lads did last year, they did a magical fight demonstration. So you have to show some kind of magical show what you can do. It's unusual for first years to be put in, but you got a fucking legendary dragon that has 2 fucking elemental types, which is we've never fucking seen before. So yeah, you definitely have to do it.
Yeah, and these bad girls are trying to they then go after Anna and say, "Oh, did you hear what Grace was saying about you?" And then Anna responds very nobly to the point where isn't moved to tears. He's just moved because he's like, "Oh, your parents brought you up so well, Anna."
Yeah, some of mom and dad told me that people who tell you what other people are telling you about are just trying to fucking spread gossip and shit. It's just like, do you hear what she said about you? It's like, oh, you're making shit up then. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Shouldn't be friends with these people because who knows what they're going to say about you behind your back.
So the dad, as Grace, kind of comes out, and instead of like the daughter's playing this video game, obviously, and she's just going like, all right, let's see how fucking dad gives him a right ball again. He's like, I'm so sorry, I haven't really fucking expressed myself properly. I apologize profusely. And the bully girls are like, oh fuck, no, sorry. You're apologizing to us. What? Okay. And it's like, because if he started shit, they would have just came back for revenge later or made another fucking plot. But he's taking it all on himself, which he learned in the corporate world.
Yes. This is the bureaucrat, the public servant at work. Yeah. So there's also a brief bit in here where the daughter's wondering how to communicate with the dad, and she accidentally controls the dragon, causing it to breathe fire.
She gets very frustrated with the scene because the dad is fucking stupid, and she's just slamming the button, and it's like, oh fuck, X makes it breathe fire. It's like, okay, so I get the dragon.
Really meanwhile, the dad's wondering about the dragon because he's like, I feel like you're trying to tell me something at some time, at some point. How can I communicate with you? Because he's like, this dragon seems, it's basically like this beast has more sentience than the other beasts.
Yeah, a lot of them are just like summoned and then do the thing that they're asked to do. They don't really react beyond that. Whereas his dragon seemed to be controlled or something. Yeah, which it is.
So essentially, he has brought these three girls and Anna. They're all on his side now. So they're all going to get along together. This is where he's very proud. And then behind him, all the triggers go off on them as they are now more attracted to Grace. And that's the episode. It's just those two parts, really. But yeah, it moves things along because you get a little bit of like, is she going to be able to control the dragon more than she thinks she can? I suspect that's how eventually they will communicate between each other. But I like the way they're like passing out the little bits of information that the dad's getting, like both to the audience and the dad, of like that's a little bit closer now. There's like spotting things that we've spotted, and it's not holding. You need him to spot it eventually, because otherwise,
you don't want to hold out too long on it. Sure.
And also, the joke stops working after a while.
It's funny you can see them leveling up, but
it's good that he did it long enough that the viewer could notice that it was happening, and then let it play out for a little bit longer. And now it's like, oh, he's noticed, but he hasn't figured out what that indicates. Because once he figures out what it indicates, he might panic. But then if the daughter can then start communicating with him that they just need to get to the end of the game, whatever the end of the game is.
Yeah, because it's whatever he's changing the nature of the game, because he's the main character in the game now, clearly. Like he's still playing the game as if he's supporting Anna, because like in the opening bit, he's kind of like, oh, these two guys are kind of up and coming and shit. I should make sure that they're still in the running. Like she's still leveling up in relationship with them as well. And it's like they're leveling up in relationship with you, dude. Like you're just not paying attention half the time.
It's a wonder. The other thing I realized this week is I was like, okay, so he's 52. So that means the reason why he's like doing the Julie fan dance, he's got when it turns from the mundane to the fantasy in the end credits, is like he would have, when he was 20, Juliana's Tokyo nightclub would have still been open.
Okay, right. That's cool.
So he'd be very much going to like this fake British nightclub in Tokyo and waving the fans around, and probably meeting the wife. So it's like, that makes sense. That is the reference that he would have to nightclubbing. That's the age the character is. Then finally, Dragon Ball Daima episode 18, Awakening. What a fucking episode. What an amazing fucking episode.
Like the thing is, right, this week was very good. Overall, like we've enjoyed everything like top to bottom here. Fucking hell, man. That was so oh my god. So good. So very good. They make I've never liked that Super Saiyan form, because a lot of people are going like, oh, they're going to make a new Super Saiyan form. Kind of right. Canonize one. I've never liked it. It looks good because he's dumpier and he's more monkey looking, and I was like,
it feels like it's avatistic. It's like it's particularly because you get like the blood, you get the magic going through the blood.
Yes,
it like it's pulling the DNA backwards.
Exactly, because that's what it was supposed to do. Like talking about it, like it's Super Saiyan 4. It's fucking Dragon Ball GT is canon. They were clearly trying to get to that as well. They were kept. It was like this fucking Oob is a guy now, but we're not going to show him yet. We're not going to fucking get to him. Maybe they will eventually down the line. I did see there was a Dragon Ball Super special one shot that came out.
Yes,
I haven't read it yet now, but I'd be kind of like,
it's basically a flashback to how the two boys decided to become superheroes.
Okay. I mean, like it suggests to me, and this also suggests to me, is like, are they going to do like redo GT but like better? Because the problem I have with GT is it got into the very like I really enjoyed Z, like that's where I started one, and I kind of regret not starting with the original Dragon Ball.
Or this is GT done better.
That's the thing as well. Like they could redo GT and have it with more jokes, because that's what we've enjoyed about Super. It's like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z is great, but it got very serious. Oh, Super's like that, but with more jokes. Excellent. And obviously, this is still with lots of jokes. Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, it's the design of his hands getting big makes it look like he's become more caveman-like.
Yeah, because the Super Saiyan 4 was always supposed to be like the thing of you're getting what's the big Abe called? I can't fucking think of the name of it. My brain's like Oolong, and I was like, that's a different character in Dragon Ball.
I know the monkey's the pig.
Yeah. That's why I'm just like, I can't remember the name of the giant ape form.
Golden Great Ape.
Oh, I thought it had like just a one-word thing.
Oh no, he turns into so the Super Saiyan. So it's a great ape, and for a Saiyan to attain, this is the old version. To attain Super Saiyan 4, they must be able to transform into a golden great ape.
So you got to go like a Super Saiyan ape, right?
And subsequently regain conscious control over their form.
Yeah, which we got like a thing of in early Z, where Vegeta turned into an ape but was aware of it. He wasn't wild like we've seen before. Like, yeah, so it was like it was feeding back into lore, like, and you become a more primal version of that. Actually, that kind of fits into the Gohan with the beast mode thing as well. It's just like you're going into like a primal version of that, but it's like it's not like a level up version. It's more like you're going a different direction with your transformation, which I like. It's better, and again, the design looks better than it's ever fucking done in this, and yeah, it's so good. But anyway, yeah, we got to get to that point first.
Yes, because before we get that, we've got Super Saiyan 3, and we've got Majin Do powering up with a giant cookie, because Majin Q using his going to the shops quickly ability to go and get a cookie for him.
Oh my! I love these characters, man. These fucking guys, they're great. If they don't show up in the next Dragon Ball fighting game, and the fucking power up isn't eat a big cookie. Like, I'm just gonna be like, come on, what are you doing? You're leaving money on the table.
And do just like seeing Goku just scream and out the power, and him going, "That looks fun," and do exactly the same and grow Super Saiyan 3 hair out the back of his body.
Like gelatinous spikes out the back of his thing. Like, even fucking Gloria has the point where he's kind of looking over. He's like, so if I just shout and get really fucking angry, and then like everyone's just like, yeah, it feels good, man.
So we get a bit with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Majin Do in imitation Super Saiyan 3 and Tagami number 1 going after Goma. They do well, but the cookie power does not last long. It's just a sugar rush.
Yeah.
And Goku gets trapped, and the third eye reverses all the transformations, which then causes Never to step up and time to unlock your potential in your genes.
Yeah.
Turn into a little red monkey man and give Goma what for. He gives Goma what for, but then Goma, or the eye, makes a massive giant Goma that they've got to fight. Meanwhile, Doctor's like, Glorio, bring me that Dragon Ball, and then I want you to wish for me to become super duper fantastic supreme king with the greatest magic power, so I can beat Goma.
I did appreciate Glorio kind of going over to our guy, another favorite character of mine, just like, hey, can you give me those Dragon Balls? He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for I'm sick of carrying these fucking things. Useless character. Fucking love him. Great. And Gloria's kind of like, you can see, like, the next episode's called like Betrayal or something like that. He's going to betray the Doctor because he likes these guys now. He's just like, yeah, actually, this is.
And the fact that you got to make the wish in Namekian, and he's learned
like,
Namekian.
I taught you Namekian specifically so you could make this wish for me.
Oh,
so
she had him learn Namekian.
Sorry,
I
had
doesn't
you.
know
You're
it.
right. I had you learn it. Not I taught you it personally. I got you to be taught in Namekian so you could make the wish. Yeah.
Yes, I still assume he will make a stupid wish, i.e., not just wish for Goma to lose the eye, but instead to make everybody
wish
get
was a fair fight, is it, or something like that? Yeah. Like, it's just like, all right, that's worded in a way that it's still fighting time, right? Yeah.
But I assume once everybody's in their adult forms, then it may be a tougher fight for old Goma. But yes, we do get Piccolo and Glorio having a bit of screaming and shooting as well.
I mean, like he gets the Masenko, like they add some lightning to it and shit. Like everyone gets to do all the stuff. Vegeta's kind of like, I am really fucked up and I can't get up again. Like, but everyone gets a little bit to do in it. Like literally the only problem I've had with the show is like kind of sideline Piccolo, which is generally my problem with Dragon Ball because I love Piccolo. And I'm just like, I got the Piccolo movie. I'm happy. I'm good.
Yes, he got his moment there, which I guess is also the unlocking potential type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Ties into this, which I assume was just on Toriyama's mind.
It's like, wait a minute, I've had this thing in my pocket the whole fucking time, and I've never, I've used it twice, but like I don't really tend to use it. Yeah.
It was something where someone unlocks Yajirobe's potential.
No, that's as far as he goes. That's the ceiling of Yajirobe. Cannot fly. That's the most important thing about Yajirobe. You gotta know.
But no, his thing is he was great, and then he never trained. He was as powerful as Goku when he met Goku.
Because you need to wish
no
with
training.
you need to wish with the dragon that Yajirobe wasn't so. I wish for Yajirobe to be not lazy, and it's just like, yeah, but then you've fundamentally changed his character. I think that's the problem. Like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's a great idea when he shows up. It's like, oh, there's just this little fat samurai, and he's as powerful as Goku, but has zero ambition. Does not want to fight.
Wants to live easy. Yeah.
And then you just keep him around in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. No, this show is great, man. Just really, really good Dragon Ball. I know a lot of people would be just like, I don't know if there'd be more, if it's worth going into more Dragon Ball. It's like, no, if you like it, then you're gonna love it. Like, you're gonna love this.
If they can, they're gonna do more Dragon Ball. So.
If they can, and I'm not sure how I feel about that entirely. I guess it depends how respectful they are.
We're going to eventually get a date when there's going to be a different voice for Goku.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, we've had to have a different voice for Bulma. I think one of the reasons they did the Piccolo movie is like he's getting on in years. Like, we're probably going to replace a lot of these guys because time and we don't have Toriyama around is the other thing. Like, it's a problem.
Yeah, that new chapter is interesting. It did make me wonder, like, how much Toriyama was doing art checks and advice, because it feels more like in the style of God, I can't remember his name now. The artist
who's doing Super. Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about, but I can't think of the name.
But it feels more like just him this chapter.
Yeah, because of Super, like kind of bringing it up again, like Toriyama's like revisions to the last shot of the prior chapter of Super, where it's just like, no, have Piccolo turn around and wave and then fly off, and I was just like, yeah, that was the right fucking choice. You knew what you were doing going out in that one, like that kind of stuff. Like there's those little bits of Toriyama you kind of get in the niceness, the friendliness, the stupid fucking jokes. Yeah, that adds a lot.
Yeah, it still has plenty of the new chapter has plenty of all that, because it's about the two boys deciding to become superheroes.
Yeah. They are fun characters, and that's a fun arc that the Super comic has done. So yeah.
Yes, I think that's definitely feels like something they were super into. It's like okay, it's the two boys at high school. It's their high school friends. We're adding those new characters. It opens them up from where they were stuck until their most Dragon Ball superhero. Those two characters were stuck,
just fucking trapped in amber, basically. Yeah.
Until they had puberty, and now all of a sudden you can do loads of more stories with them.
See that, like, I don't know if I'm in the minority. I don't know how the fandom generally feels in it, but I was really enjoying Z when it was about Gohan going to college and becoming Spider-Man. Like basically, and he was getting involved in all kinds of like teenage shenanigans and that kind of stuff. And I was just like, this is great. And then it got to like, hey, what about a tournament? I was like, I was having such good fun before you decided to do another fucking tournament. It felt like it was moving on and doing new stories with Dragon Ball at that stage, and obviously with these other two teams, you can do those kind of stories. There's other stories you can do in this universe, yes. Sure.
Also, Goten and Trunks are far stupider than Gohan. So that is also...
in a way that's very fun to watch their shenanigans. Yeah.
Trunks did not really inherit his mother's brains.
Just her hair.
Goten unfortunately did inherit his father's.
Yeah, can't win them all.
Yeah, that's it for this week.
Hmm.
I'm watching another two Detective Conan movies, neither of which I would recommend. Well, one of which is worth watching for the mystery. So let me just find on Letterboxd which ones I did.
Last one you watched was 6, wasn't it? You were recommending.
I think I'm up to 9. I think now. So the ones I watched this week were Private Eye's Requiem. Thumbs down on that one.
Okay.
I think I'd seen that one before, though. I think I liked it less than when I saw it previously. Detective Conan: Strategy Above the Depths. Okay, I may have watched 3 Detective Conan movies. Let me reach.
Yeah, no, I was right. 6.
Yeah. So, Strategy Above the Depths. That is worth watching for the mystery.
Okay, that's good.
It's the setup is like an Agatha Christie thing. You've got everybody on board a cruise ship where murders are happening. But
so
then,
it has to be someone in this enclosed environment.
Well, except it then does a Columbo and shows you exactly who it is doing the crime.
Okay.
And then it does the Agatha Christie thing of like going, well, you thought you're familiar with the form of a detective story, but you're not.
Okay,
cool. She liked doing that, didn't she? She's got the Poirot where the story's being written by the murderer. And things like that. So yeah, Magician of the Silver Sky. That is the opening sequence and the closing sequence are good. It's another Kaito Kid one. The mystery in the middle is not very good.
Okay.
No, so the one I watched last was Crossroad in the Ancient Capital. That one's worth watching because that's got a very much a mystery which feels closer to comics of mysteries.
Okay.
It's a puzzle. Whereas I like Strategy Above the Depths. It's like it feels like it saw 6 and it was like, I'll have a go at doing something cleverer with the mystery. The animation at this point, though, is in that era of TMS that I've described, where if you looked at a background character, you'd be hard pressed to tell whether they came from Detective Conan or a Lupin TV specialist.
Just sub them in,
Yeah, those first 6 movies, which are done on cell, definitely look better than this early digital era. I think only one of them's had super obvious digital vehicles as a shortcut. But yeah, sorry, making me way through. I think I'm 10. I think will be the last one that I know I've seen for 12 movies, and then I'll be into
new territory.
Areas of new territory. I do want to see the one that came out last year because I got the trailer for it, and then it only played in London. As best I can tell. That's it for now. We'll be back next week, where I should probably have watched even more Detective Conan movies. Or possibly I'll have just played the new Like a Dragon game instead. Which is better than me just playing No Man's Sky. But we'll be back at full power next week, all 3 of us. Ta-ra for now.
Bye.
Let me hit the stop button.